Questions for Coach Stevens? Start with Tim Bontemps.
Hey, Brad. Jason's numbers in the first quarter shot-wise are down a pretty good amount over the past couple of weeks. I think he's down 2 or 3 attempts per game. I just was curious, is that any part of, Kemba working his way back in or anything happening offensively? Is that something you've noticed? And is that anything you have any concerns about or want to see change?
I'd say that that's been fairly consistent with Jason throughout the years. I don't think it's necessarily, that obviously if you tell me it's 1 or 2 less shots or whatever it is, I think even if you go back to last year, you saw that quite a bit, especially in that first stint where he plays from 12 to 7 or 12 to 6. The other night, he was getting us organized and, playing the point for us. And a lot of times when he's running stuff early, he's really trying to spray that around and share it. But there's no question we need him to be appropriately aggressive whenever that opportunity presents itself. And certainly not wait till that second stint comes along. And I think that that's something that, among other things, that's probably the least of, our issues right now is Jason in the first 5 minutes, but it's certainly the more that our best players can be aggressive, the better.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, have you been informed or told about this next road trip? Any potential postponements? Obviously, you're going to Texas on probably Sunday night, or if not Monday morning. Have you had to delay any plans for this trip or going to Dallas, weather-related stuff?
We have not been told yet, Gary. I've actually asked that question, but we have not been told that yet. I feel so bad for the people down there. It sounds awful. Obviously, I hope it warms up soon and power gets restored and everything else. But we have not been told anything about our travel yet. We're assuming we're going to New Orleans tomorrow.
Kelly Kroll.
Hey.
Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
You'd think I'd have this down by now, Coach. Thanks. How did the defensive looks change for you tonight with the guys you're getting back?
It changes a little bit. Matchups change a little bit. What we want to do changes a little bit. Not a ton. I think you go back and you look at why we gave up 120 points. I think it started in transition. Obviously, then the next thing was ISO and or guys driving switches and guys driving individually. And then the next thing after that was rebounding. And then finally, some of the pick and roll stuff. And so there's things that we have to improve in all those areas. But matchups are a part of that, but also just being better against each individual is another part of that.
Abby Chin.
I'm here for the injury updates. Jalen was initially listed as questionable, has been upgraded, but any updates on his knee? And then Marcus and I guess Romeo as well.
No, I don't have any updates. I think the Jalen was just a typical look at and make sure he feels great coming off the back-to-back. Probably was a little bit more sore as to be expected after the back-to-back, but then felt much better this morning and good. And then no updates on Marcus or Romeo.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Hey, Brad, you said in the past that when you're making your all-star votes, you really value winning. I was just wondering how, with so many teams really just bunched in together this year, how that will be affected by that. And then also just what you think in general of Jalen and Jason's candidacy.
Well, we're certainly hopeful they both make it. I think they both certainly deserve it. I think that I will look at it a little bit differently from my own perspective this year, just simply because each of these teams and all of the players around the East have had different challenges that their teams have dealt with, right? And so I don't think it's necessarily, maybe in the past, it stands out when, the top 4, 5, 6 teams, have 2 or 3 players that are really carrying the load, that those people are in the highest contention for all-star spots. This year, it's a little bit more difficult to discern that just because people are, being at 500 or a couple games below 500, with all that some of these teams have gone through is pretty damn impressive. And so I think that I have to weigh that in when voting and when looking at it, and there's a lot of good players. It's going to be tough to choose 7. I don't get to vote for our 2 guys. I'm not allowed to. Otherwise, obviously, they both are, I think they both should be in it, and certainly deserving of it.
Final question for Coach Mavitor.
Brett, any of your guys in either the 3-point or the dunk contest, has that been discussed? I was wondering with Javante specifically, possibly as a dunk guy, but are there any of your guys in contention?
Matt, I had no idea they're even talking about having those things. So if our guys are in it, I wouldn't know. And sometimes I don't even know till I turn on TV that weekend and see, Jason was in the skills challenge. That was fun to go to. Isaiah was in the skills challenge a couple years ago when we were able to actually go to it. I guess I just watched Jason on TV, but I'm not up to speed on who gets named to what other than the all-stars themselves.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.